Right. I want to start with a number.
This normally ends well.
94%.
94% of what?
UK business leaders who say they're confident their organisation can detect and respond to a data breach or cyber attack.
That's actually quite reassuring.
Is it?
Well, 94% is pretty bloody high.
It is. So let's put another number next to it. 47%.
Go on.
UK businesses requiring two-factor authentication.
Less than half?
Less than half.
Okay.
How about 31% then?
I'm starting to dislike this game.
That's the number of businesses with explicit board-level responsibility for cybersecurity.
Okay.
And finally, 5%.
Based solely on the fact you haven't mentioned it yet. Cyber essentials?
Yup, cyber essentials.
5% of UK businesses?
5%.
After what? 10 years?
More than 10. It launched in 2014.
But 94% are confident they can spot and deal with a cyber attack?
Apparently.
I'm beginning to see the problem.
Nope, you're seeing the statistics. We're nowhere near the problem yet.
He's the guy with the plan for your online life. Keeps your data safe, cuts through the strife. Small biz owners, yeah, this is your guide. Cyber threats, beware, no place to hide. The small business cybersecurity guy, guarding your world with a sharp eagle eye. Tips and tricks to keep your systems tight. Stay secure, stay strong in the digital fight.
Hello, and welcome to the Small Business Cybersecurity Guy. I'm Lucy Harper. I'm here with Noel Bradford, and this is part 3 of our painfully practical trip through governance, risk, and compliance. We've already talked about governance, which is basically working out who's actually in charge, and risk, which is working out what might go wrong and what you're going to do about it. Today, we get to compliance. And if that word has already made you think of giant policy folders, annual audits, spreadsheets full of green boxes, and somebody charging 1,100 quid a day to ask whether you've reviewed your password policy, stay with us, because that's not really what this episode is about.
Although, for the record, if anybody does want to pay me 1,100 quid a day to ask about their password policy, I'm prepared to reconsider my position.
Of course you are. What we're actually talking about is whether the security controls a business says it has can survive one very simple question.
Prove it.
Exactly. You say you use MFA. Prove it. You say your backups work. Prove it. You say only authorized people can access customer data. Prove it. You say you'd cope with ransomware. When did you last test that?
Which is why those numbers at the top of the episode matter. Confidence is lovely. However, confidence isn't a control.
And today we're going to look at what happens when confidence, policy, and reality all turn out to be 3 completely different things. So let's deal with the obvious question first. Where have these numbers actually come from? Because 94% versus fewer than half using two-factor authentication sounds like we've accidentally combined a survey of security professionals with one taken outside a pub.
Fair challenge. They're different surveys, different populations, and we shouldn't pretend they're measuring precisely the same thing. The 47%, 31%, and 5% numbers come from the government's Cybersecurity Breaches Survey for 2025 to 2026. Proper government statistics. The 94% comes from separate research by Elixir, covering 1,000 UK business decision makers.
So we can't say 94% of the same companies haven't got MFA.
Absolutely not. That would be bollocks.
But we can say there's a pretty spectacular difference between the confidence being reported by business leaders and the basic controls being reported across UK businesses.
Exactly. And I think that's almost the definition of a compliance problem.
Explain that one.
Compliance has got a terrible reputation because whenever you say the word, people picture policies, audits, clipboards, consultants, and a spreadsheet containing 400 rows where somebody has mysteriously marked every box green.
Usually the week before the audit.
Obviously. But strip all that rubbish away, and compliance asks a very simple question.
Prove it.
Pretty much.
We use MFA.
Prove it.
Our backups are secure.
Prove it.
We patch our machines.
Prove it.
Only authorized people can access customer data.
Prove it.
We'd cope with ransomware.
When did you test that?
That's slightly more than 2 words.
I'm flexible.
Generous.
But that's the point. You can say absolutely anything about your security. Businesses do it constantly. We're secure. We take cyber seriously. Our IT company handles that. Everything's backed up. Everyone's got MFA.
And compliance asks for evidence.
Yes, not confidence, not intention, evidence.
So we've got 5% with Cyber Essentials, 31% with board-level ownership, and 47% with 2-factor authentication. What else is buried in this survey?
Do you actually want to know?
Is it that bad?
34% of businesses have a policy to apply software security updates within 14 days, which is what Cyber Essentials requires.
Only 34?
Yep.
That's not some exotic security control.
No, that's basically, could we please not leave known holes open indefinitely?
Ambitious.
It gets better, or worse, depending on whether you're a podcast listener or a cyber insurer. Only a quarter of businesses had a formal incident response plan.
Yet we've another survey where 94% of business leaders say they're confident they can detect and respond to an incident. So what does a business without an incident plan actually do when something happens?
After they run about like a headless chicken that's on fire for a little while. Well, that's the fascinating bit. People imagine incident response means having some enormous leather-bound folder labeled ransomware.
With a tiny hammer attached to break the glass.
Exactly, it doesn't. Start with really boring questions. Who takes charge? Who calls the insurer? Who talks to the IT team? Who decides whether systems get shut down? Who calls the ICO if personal data is involved? Who talks to customers? Who has authority to spend money at 2 a.m. if emergency help is needed?
And presumably somebody has all those contact details.
Exactly. Where are they stored?
Oh, they're in the company emergency contact spreadsheet on SharePoint, of course.
Excellent. And what if Microsoft 365 is the thing you can't access?
Bollocks.
Compliance.
That's annoyingly effective.
Now put all of this against what the NCSC is seeing.
This is the 4 incidents a week number?
Yes. Richard Horn said the National Cybersecurity Centre was dealing with an average of 4 nationally significant cyber incidents every week. Think Marks and Spencer's, Jaguar Land Rover, Co-op, etc. And at Cyber UK this year, he said that pace was remaining fairly steady.
Nationally significant doesn't mean someone's WordPress site got spammed.
No, these are serious incidents. The NCSC handled 204 nationally significant incidents in the 12 months to the end of August 2025.
Against 89 the year before.
Yep,
More than double.
and 18 were classed as highly significant.
So we've got serious attacks happening constantly. High-profile organizations getting hammered. The NCSC telling boards this is a business survival issue. And 5% have Cyber Essentials.
Yep,
47% require 2-factor authentication.
yep,
94% confident.
there she is.
I hate that number now. Right. I'm going to defend the businesses for a minute.
Of course you are.
Cyber Essentials certification doesn't mean you're secure.
Correct,
Wait, what? That was easier than I expected.
because you're right.
A company can have Cyber Essentials and still get breached. They can still make bad decisions. An employee can still get socially engineered.
Absolutely.
So why are we getting annoyed about the fact only 5% have the certificate?
Because we're confusing 2 separate things. Cyber Essentials isn't proof that you're invincible. It's evidence that at a particular point, you assessed yourself against a defined baseline covering some really basic controls. It's a point-in-time assessment, like when you take your car in for an MOT every year. The certificate says that at the time you submitted the self-assessment, you were compliant. However, there's nothing that's going to stop you from doing the cyber equivalent of putting your catalytic converter free performance exhaust and racing slick tires back on your car as soon as you get home from the test.
Firewalls, secure configuration, access control, malware protection, security updates.
That's it. We're not talking about constructing a military operations center under the office. We're asking whether you've got the digital equivalent of locks on the doors and whether you've stopped giving everybody a copy of the master key.
But again, you could have all those controls and just not bother getting certified.
Yes, and the government survey actually suggests that's happening. 24% of businesses reported having controls in all 5 Cyber Essentials technical areas.
But only 5% hold Cyber Essentials.
Correct. Now, we have to be careful with what that means. I'm not saying the other 19% would fail. They might be absolutely fine and simply see no value in paying for certification.
Which is fair.
It can be, but if we're talking about compliance, I still get to ask the question.
Prove it?
Prove it.
Statistics are easy to shout about, though. What does this actually look like in a small business?
I've got 2 examples from recent work.
Names changed to protect the guilty?
Names not being used at all to protect my employment.
Sensible.
First one, regulated professional services business. They engage us because they need to improve their security position. Cyber Essentials is part of where they need to get to. We start looking at the environment.
How bad?
Multiple people effectively using shared identities for things.
Shared accounts?
Yep,
In 2026?
yep,
For what?
including SharePoint.
No.
Yes,
As in company data, sitting in SharePoint, and multiple humans accessing it as the same identity.
yes.
Why?
Convenience, history. We've always done it that way. Pick your favorite.
But surely that destroys the audit trail. If 5 people are using one identity, and something gets deleted, downloaded, shared, or changed, how do you know who actually did it?
You don't. Not reliably.
That's not even advanced security. That's just knowing who your users are.
Welcome to compliance.
What else?
Machines that were ancient.
How ancient?
12 years in some cases.
You're joking.
4 gigabytes of RAM. Old hardware. Devices that had already been highlighted for replacement.
12 years. 4 gig.
Yep.
Were they running a museum?
At least museums normally catalogue their assets.
Fair.
And this is where the story gets frustrating. Because once you start trying to move the business towards a sensible baseline, every control becomes another negotiation.
Such as individual accounts?
Individual identities, supported devices, modern authentication, replacing obsolete hardware, things that shouldn't really be controversial.
But if they've hired you specifically to help them get compliant, why are you having to fight them over the controls?
That's precisely the question.
Don't leave your business exposed. Hit subscribe and like the show. Stay informed and protected. Small business cybersecurity guy. Security tips you can trust. Subscribe now. Stay secure.
Is this the classic problem, where somebody wants the certificate, but doesn't really want the changes required to get it?
Sometimes, yes. And I want to be fair here. Compliance projects can uncover costs the business wasn't expecting.
There we go. Because you keep saying Cyber Essentials costs a few £100.
The assessment does.
But if I start the assessment and discover 6 laptops need replacing, licenses need changing, old software needs removing, and my network needs sorting, it hasn't cost me a few £100.
Correct?
It might have cost me 20 grand.
No.
No?
The assessment hasn't cost you 20 grand.
Semantics.
Not semantics at all. It's important. 12 years of deferred maintenance has cost you 20 grand.
The business still has to find the money.
Absolutely. I'm not pretending otherwise, especially for a small business. Replacing half an estate in one hit can hurt.
So isn't it unfair to say low Cyber Essentials adoption comes down entirely to priorities rather than budget?
Entirely? Yes. That's too simplistic.
Good.
But there's a huge difference between saying, we can't afford to remediate everything immediately, so let's prioritize the risks and create a plan, and saying, we don't want to replace this 12-year-old laptop because it was fine last week.
That's oddly specific.
Funny that.
So your objection isn't businesses having financial constraints?
God, no. Every small business has financial constraints. My objection is pretending technical debt is a surprise compliance cost because somebody finally measured it.
That's fair.
Cyber Essentials didn't make the laptop 12 years old.
Time did.
Cyber Essentials didn't make 5 people share an identity.
Someone did that voluntarily.
Exactly. Compliance has just walked into the room, switched the light on, and asked why the carpet is moving.
You said there were 2 examples.
Yep. The other one is a small accountancy practice.
Also regulated.
Yep, similar sort of world. Sensitive information, client data, financial information, lots of reasons to take security seriously.
And they're perfect.
Absolutely not. And that's why I like the example.
What were they like when you started?
They needed work. Their Microsoft licensing needed rationalizing. Identity controls needed improving. Devices needed bringing under stronger management. There were things we wanted to change.
And they're delighted whenever you send them a quote?
Let's not get carried away.
So they're still a normal small business.
Entirely. They're cost conscious. They ask questions. They don't sit around dreaming about conditional access policies.
Nobody does.
I know several people who absolutely do.
I don't want to meet them.
Fair. But here's the difference. We explain why something needs changing, they challenge it if they need to, then they make a decision and we move.
Example.
Move the users onto Microsoft 365 Business Premium because we need the security and management stack.
Okay.
Done.
Conditional access?
Done.
Better device management?
Happening.
MFA?
Yep.
Passkeys?
Rolling those in too.
Cyber essentials?
That's the next step.
So they're not spending money because they love compliance.
God, no.
They're doing it because the changes make practical sense.
Exactly.
But presumably the first business could argue the accountants just had more money available.
They could. I don't think that's the important difference.
What is?
Friction.
Explain.
One business challenges cost.
Normal.
The other challenges the requirement itself.
Ah,
Why do we need individual accounts?
because you're individual people.
Why do we need to replace that machine?
Because its next birthday card is coming from the British Museum.
Exactly.
Why do we need MFA?
Because passwords get nicked.
Why can't everyone just use this one SharePoint login?
Because then the audit log effectively says someone did something.
Very forensic.
Whereas the accountancy practice might say, do we really need business premium for everyone? We explain the controls we're going to use and why. They understand the reason. Then we get on with it.
So one argues with the price.
The other argues with reality.
That's harsh.
Is it inaccurate?
No.
And this is why I keep coming back to evidence. Take the two organizations. Imagine I'm auditing both 6 months from now.
Okay.
I ask the accountants, who accessed this file?
We've named user identities.
Was MFA required?
Conditional access says yes.
Can this random unmanaged laptop access company data?
Policy says no.
Show me.
Logs.
Exactly.
And in the other business,
Historically, who accessed the file?
we don't know because several people are Fred.
Exactly.
Apparently Fred works in accounts, conveyancing, reception and management simultaneously.
Employee of the month.
You would hope, every month.
That's the compliance problem. Not because an auditor dislikes shared accounts, although Cyber Essentials hates them. Because the business has destroyed one of the most fundamental security properties it has.
Accountability.
Yes. If identity doesn't mean identity, everything you build on top of it becomes questionable.
That's quite a big point.
It's enormous, and it's why I get frustrated when people reduce compliance to paperwork.
Because the audit trail isn't paperwork.
It's operational evidence.
Conditional access isn't paperwork.
It's an enforced decision.
Passkeys aren't paperwork.
They're a control.
Testing a restore isn't paperwork.
It's finding out whether your backup is actually a backup.
I'm going to annoy you again.
It's practically in your contract.
You're sounding like policies don't matter.
Oh no, they absolutely do matter, and on multiple levels.
Because we've spent this whole section ripping paperwork to shreds.
We've been talking about the bad, contradictory, pointless paperwork.
What's the difference?
A policy should describe a decision the organization has actually made.
Such as?
Everyone must use MFA.
Fine.
Then the technical control enforces it.
Conditional access.
Yep. Then the evidence tells us whether it's happening.
Sign-in logs. Policy state. Reports.
Exactly. Policy, control, evidence.
That's compliance.
That's a huge chunk of useful compliance.
What about a policy that says everyone must use MFA, but 3 directors have been excluded because they complained?
That's fiction. In fact, I've always maintained that a policy that has exceptions can exist but really shouldn't, just like a policy that doesn't have consequences for breaching it.
A beautifully formatted fiction.
With version control.
Approved annually.
By the 3 directors excluded from MFA.
94% confident.
There it is.
Want the deep dive? Check the sources. cybersecurityguy.co.uk. The blog, real security, no fluff.
This must be where compliance programs go wrong then.
Constantly. Somebody asks, do we actually have MFA?
Yes, it's enabled in Entra ID or Google.
Green box. Next. Nobody asks for whom, on what, using which authentication methods. Are there exclusions? Can administrators bypass it? What happens to the legacy application that can't support it?
Bollocks.
Exactly.
So a compliance exercise can actually make things worse if it creates confidence without testing the answer.
Yes. Compliance theatre is dangerous because it produces paperwork that says you're safe.
Which takes us straight back to that 94%.
Confidence without controls is denial wearing a suit.
You used that in the LinkedIn post.
I liked it.
Fair.
But I'd go further now. Confidence created by a spreadsheet full of untested controls is worse.
Because now you've got evidence.
No, you've got something that looks like evidence.
That's nastier.
Much.
Right. This is where we turn all that has gone before into something actionable. So Noel, if a listener owns a 20-person business, they're now staring suspiciously at every green box in their compliance spreadsheet. What should they do tomorrow morning?
I don't want to give them a 47-point checklist.
Thank goodness we're running tight on time.
Ask some questions. Who owns cyber risk?
A person, not IT.
Exactly. Who by name is responsible at leadership level? Then ask whether strong authentication is actually enforced everywhere that matters.
Not. We told staff to switch it on.
Enforced.
Next.
When did you last restore something from backup?
Not. When did the backup software last say successful?
Correct. Restore something.
How many people have administrator access?
And do they need it?
How quickly do you patch?
Yep.
What happens if Microsoft 365 disappears at 10 tomorrow morning?
Beautiful.
I thought you'd like that one.
Who takes charge? How do staff communicate? Where are the emergency contacts? What does the business do first?
And presumably, Ask Dave in ET isn't a complete incident response plan.
Especially if Dave is on holiday.
So after all of this, are you actually telling every UK business to get cyber essentials?
If it's appropriate for them, yes, I think it's an extremely sensible baseline.
But that's not really the point of the episode.
No.
The point is that certification forces somebody to answer the questions.
Exactly. That's why I care about the 5% figure.
Not because 95% are therefore insecure.
We can't say that and shouldn't.
Not because Cyber Essentials magically stops attacks.
It doesn't.
But because only a small proportion have chosen to put their name against a defined baseline and have it assessed through the scheme.
Yes.
And the government's own survey says 24% think they're already doing the 5 areas.
Which is encouraging.
So your question to them is?
Brilliant. Prove it.
Of course it is. This actually closes the GRC loop rather neatly. Governance was, who's responsible?
Who owns the decision?
Risk was, what could happen and what are we going to do about it?
Yep.
Compliance is, did you actually do what you said you were going to do?
And can you prove it? That's the bit people miss.
It makes compliance sound almost disappointingly practical.
It's practical.
Less exciting than binders.
Much less lucrative for binder manufacturers.
Tragic.
But think about those two real businesses again.
Shared accounts and ancient laptops versus the accountants steadily putting controls in.
Neither started perfect.
Neither has unlimited money.
Neither needs to become a cybersecurity company.
One just accepts that some things need changing,
Exactly.
while the other has to be dragged towards changes it engaged you to help make.
And that's why compliance is cultural as much as technical.
Because eventually somebody has to accept the answer.
Yes, you can pay an assessor, you can hire an MSP, you can buy business premium, you can buy security tools until your credit card melts.
But if the answer to every control is, can we make an exception?
You're stuffed.
So let's go back to the beginning. 94% of the business leaders in that Elixir report confident they could detect and respond to a cyber incident.
Yep, but I'd put money on 50% of respondents just clicking answers, hoping to win the 100 quid Amazon or Uber voucher.
47% of businesses in the government survey requiring 2-factor authentication.
Yep, But for what exactly?
31%, with explicit board-level responsibility for cybersecurity.
Check.
34%, with a policy to apply security updates within 14 days.
Yep.
5% reporting cyber essentials.
Yep.
4 nationally significant cyber incidents a week, being handled by the NCSC.
Still roughly where the number was when Richard Horne spoke at Cyber UK in April.
So what's the message?
Stop telling me you're confident. Instead, show me why you're so confident. Show me the controls.
Show me the logs.
Show me the restore test.
Show me who owns the risk.
Show me that MFA is actually enforced.
Show me that Fred isn't secretly 7 different people sharing a SharePoint login.
Particularly that.
And if you can't,
Then don't panic. Fix it. You already know someone who can help.
that's surprisingly reasonable.
Compliance isn't proving you're perfect.
It's proving you're not just making shit up.
Exactly.
And cyber essentials?
It's a baseline, not a force field, not a guarantee, not proof you'll never get breached.
But at least somebody has asked the questions.
And you've had to put evidence behind the answers.
Which brings us back to 5%,
5%.
after more than a decade.
And that's what should embarrass boardrooms.
Not because every company without the badge is insecure,
No.
but because after everything we've seen, we're still having to argue about controls that should be boring by now.
Exactly. MFA should be boring. Patching should be boring. Backups should be boring. Individual user accounts should be spectacularly boring.
12-year-old laptops,
They should be retired.
poor things.
They've served their country.
21 gun salute behind PC World,
A tad overkill, as it will cost much more than a fleet of new laptops, so secure destruction will do.
less paperwork.
Don't start.
Final thought?
If your business says it's secure, ask for the evidence. If your board says it's confident, ask what that confidence is based on. And if your compliance program consists of policies nobody follows and controls nobody tests, you're not compliant. You've just documented the fantasy.
That's cheerful.
Good security doesn't have to be expensive,
Here it comes.
but stupidity always is.
And where does your business actually sit on this?
Honestly.
Next week, we'll be wrapping up the whole GRC series, when Graham Faulkner and I take everything from the last 3 episodes and, with Noel's guidance, turn them into a workable action plan and launch something new.
Also, don't forget our daily shows, the Daily CVE Update, hosted by the amazing and slightly scary Corinne Jefferson every weekday morning. Ideal for your morning commute, where she breaks down all the new vulnerabilities and what they mean to you.
And also, Moven McLeod wraps up the daily threat analysis every weekday afternoon at 3 p.m, just in time for an afternoon tea break. Search for Threat Analysis wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want a break from all the cyber doom, check out the Daily Time Drop, where Clara Vale looks back at quirky, sometimes fun, sometimes sad events from that day in history.
All 3 shows are around 10 minutes in length and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Right, before we let you go completely, let's have a quick chat about the boring but necessary legal bits. Don't worry, I'll make this as painless as possible. First up, and this is important, everything we've said today represents our own personal opinions and experiences. These views are ours alone and don't represent any organisation we work for, any employers, advertisers, sponsors, or anyone else who might be connected to the show. When we're giving you advice or sharing our thoughts, that's coming from us as individuals, not speaking on behalf of anyone else. Everything we've talked about today is for general guidance. It's meant to point you in the right direction, but it absolutely shouldn't be treated as professional advice tailored specifically to your business. Your situation is unique. What works brilliantly for a Birmingham bakery might be completely useless for a Manchester marketing agency. We do our very best to keep everything accurate and current, but let's be honest here. The cybersecurity world moves faster than a caffeinated squirrel being chased up a tree by Mauvin's Jack Russell. Things can change between when we record and when you're listening, so always double check critical technical details with qualified professionals before you go making major changes to your systems. If we've mentioned any websites, products or services, we're giving you information, not necessarily giving them our seal of approval. We can't be responsible for what happens on their end or if things go sideways when you use them. Some things we recommend might involve affiliate partnerships. We'll always flag those when they come up because transparency matters. Now, If you're dealing with serious cybersecurity incidents, actual data breaches, or gnarly legal compliance issues, please talk to proper professionals, rather than just relying on podcast advice. We're here to educate and help you understand the landscape, not to replace your security consultant, solicitor, or IT team. This has been a Small Business Cybersecurity Guy production. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
Click subscribe and join the ride. Together we'll shield the digital tide. Your business is strong when your data's secure. The Small Biz Cyber Guy, here to ensure. Thanks for listening, we're signing off. Stay cyber safe no matter the cost. The Small Biz Cyber Guy says goodbye. Until next time, keep your day